They didn't believe her. Not one of them. Not when she walked onto that range with mud on her boots and fire in her eyes. Not when she asked, quiet as a prayer, if she could borrow a rifle. And definitely not when 50 targets stood waiting in the distance, mocking every man who'd already tried and failed. But disbelief has a funny way of turning into silence when someone shows you who they really are. It was supposed to be a routine qualification day at the Naval Training Facility outside San Diego. The kind of day where elite SEAL snipers fine-tune their craft, where precision isn't just expected, it's demanded. The air was thick with desert heat, the kind that makes your throat tight and your focus sharper. 50 static and moving targets had been set up across varying distances, some as far as 800 yards out. The challenge was simple on paper. Clear all 50 without a single miss. But after 6 hours, not one sniper had managed it. Fatigue was setting in. Frustration was building. And then she arrived. Her name was Sergeant First Class Maya Reeves, Army Special Operations, and she wasn't supposed to be there. She'd been passing through the base on unrelated business when she heard the chatter, saw the crowd gathered near the range. Curiosity got the better of her. She walked over, watched for a while, her eyes tracking each shot, each miss, each frustrated breath from the men who prided themselves on perfection. No one paid her much attention at first. She was just another soldier in fatigues, lean and quiet, standing at the edge of the action. But when the last sniper lowered his rifle and shook his head, admitting defeat, she stepped forward. "Can I borrow your rifle for a second?" she asked, her voice steady, almost casual. The question hung in the air like smoke. A few of the men exchanged glances. One even laughed, not cruelly, but in that way people do when they think they've misheard something. The lead instructor, a grizzled master chief with 20 years under his belt, raised an eyebrow. "You serious?" he asked. She nodded. No smile, no bravado, just a quiet confidence that made the laughter die quickly. He hesitated, then handed her the rifle. It was a Mark 13 Mod 7, a weapon that demands respect and skill in equal measure. She took it like she was holding an old friend. What happened next? No one who was there will ever forget. She didn't rush, didn't grandstand. She settled into position, adjusted the scope with a practiced ease that spoke of countless hours in places most people would never see. The first shot cracked through the air, sharp and final. Target down, then another, and another. The rhythm was almost hypnotic. Each shot a heartbeat, each impact a promise kept. 5 targets. 10. 20. The crowd grew silent. The kind of silence that presses down on you, that makes you hold your breath without realizing it. Men who'd spent their lives mastering this craft watched a woman they didn't know dismantle every doubt with surgical precision. At 30 targets, someone whispered, "No way she keeps this up." But she did. 40 targets. The wind picked up, a variable that had tripped up even the best shooters that day. She adjusted without hesitation, reading the air like a language only she understood. 45. The moving targets came into play now, mechanical silhouettes that swung unpredictably. She tracked them with an almost eerie calm, leading each shot just enough, timing each squeeze of the trigger with a patience that felt infinite. And then 50. The final target dropped, and the silence shattered into something else entirely. Disbelief giving way to respect. Respect giving way to awe. She stood, handed the rifle back to the Master Chief without a word, and started to walk away. "Wait," he called after her. "Where the hell did you learn to shoot like that?" She paused, turned back, and for the first time, there was something soft in her expression. Something that hinted at a story much longer and harder than the one they'd just witnessed. "My father," she said quietly. "He was a Marine sniper, Vietnam. He taught me on a farm in Montana when I was 8 years old. Told me that shooting wasn't about the gun. It was about stillness, about breathing, about knowing yourself well enough to shut out everything else." She glanced at the range, at the targets still swaying in the distance. He didn't make it home from his third tour, but he made sure I'd carry something of his with me. I guess this is it. The weight of those words settled over everyone. This wasn't just about skill. It was about legacy, about a little girl who'd lost her hero and spent a lifetime honoring him in the only way she knew how. She'd joined the Army at 18, earned her place in special operations, and spent years in places that didn't make the news, doing things that would never earn medals. She didn't do it for recognition. She did it because her father had taught her that service wasn't about glory. It was about showing up when it mattered most, even if no one was watching. As she walked off that range, the sun beginning its slow descent toward the horizon, the SEAL snipers stood in a loose circle, processing what they'd seen. One of them, a younger guy with barely 2 years in the teams, shook his head and muttered, "I'll never doubt anyone again." The Master Chief just nodded, a small smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Good," he said. "That's the lesson. Maya Reeves never sought fame from that day." The story spread quietly, the way the best stories do, passed from one operator to another. A reminder that greatness doesn't announce itself. It just shows up and does the work. And somewhere, in a small town in Montana, there's a photograph on a mantle. A young girl with a rifle too big for her hands, standing next to a man in marine dress blues. Both of them are smiling. Both of them knew, even then, that some bonds are forged in fire and never fade. She carries him with her still, in every breath, every shot, every moment she chooses to be still when the world demands chaos. That's the real story, not the 50 targets. But the one man who taught her that precision begins in the heart, not the hands. And she's been proving him right ever since.